No, you're not listening to me, okay? Think about it. There's not 4, there's 3. And they're not fantastic, they're terrific. Totally different. Oh, I see your point. Yeah, let's do that. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the show. So glad to see all of you once again. I'm so happy that you're returning to see our continuing series on reviewing each and every episode of Batman Beyond. Now, if you're new here, I hope you'll stick around because I think you're going to like the types of shows that we're doing because I'm looking at each and every episode of Batman Beyond through the lens of an adult now, having grown up on cartoons like this from the 80s and 90s. So if this sounds like something you might enjoy, please hop below and hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any of the episodes. And you know what? While you're down there, hit the like button because I think you're going to enjoy this episode as we talk about Heroes, which originally aired on February 21st, 1999.
We warn viewers that the tape we're about to show may be too intense for children.
Turn it up.
Well, this episode's kind of unique. It introduces a new team of superheroes into the Batman Beyond universe, but they turn out not to be what they seem. Although they do seem to be a lot like Fantastic Four, but they end up not being as good as Fantastic Four and maybe a little bad. But there's only 3 of them, totally different. But we'll get into all that after I give you my 60-second rundown of the episode before the Beyond bomb blows up. Here we go. As some more criminals get away on jetpacks, Batman is trying to stop them, but a new trio of superheroes comes in and swoops in. Freon, 2D Man, and Lava come in and swoop in and stop them. And then we go and we learn more about them that in a freak accident, these 3 got superpowers and they're trying to do good. Now, one of their friends comes in and he goes, I think something's wrong and there might be deteriorating. And one of them gets angry, the Lava guy, and goes out and he goes, I'm going to figure this out on my own. And Batman's trying to keep an eye on him and seeing what's going on. And maybe they're heroes. Maybe he's going to get some time off. But it turns out that they end up capturing the guy that was behind this. And they go, you knew that this was going to happen. And he goes, yeah, I guess I did. And then Batman swoops in and he goes, hey, you guys are one of the good guys and you can't do this. And they want to kill him. And they're going to let the whole city blow up because they're dying anyway. And Batman finally stops him. And then he leaves the guy there and goes, I thought you were their friend, and walks off. We're getting good. Actually, I think it's just pure luck. And I think I missed some details in this one, but we'll figure it out.
We'll see.
Now, this episode had me from the beginning because if you know anything about me, you know I love jetpacks. And to see the criminals getting away on jetpacks was pretty fun. Which, by the way, I think it's about time we have jetpacks. Why is that taking so hard to come up with? I mean, technology is advancing so fast. We're in the age of technology, and yet I still have to get from point A to point B using my feet. I should, or a car, but I would much rather just strap on a backpack and away I go. Come on, scientists. NASA, aren't you guys working on this? I mean, I'm waiting patiently. According to this, we only have 20 more years before this comes into effect, so.
What's your hurry, handsome?
All right, so the premise of this episode is there's this new trio of superheroes in town that appear out of nowhere and start stopping crime as well. I do like the little TV show newscast that they do to kind of give the origin story of these heroes.
Magma, Freon, and the 2D Man. Who is this terrific trio?
But a little on the nose for me. You know, it's glaringly obvious that the terrific trio is just a play off of Fantastic Four.
What are you implying?
I don't know why they did that. I mean, they could have came up with any sort of conception of a team of heroes, but they chose to go this route, and it's almost like painfully obvious how similar they are. They got this 2D man that can stretch.
Relax, I've got you.
Like Mr. Fantastic. We have the Freon female character who's married to one of the other members of the group that can turn into vapor and disappear and go through things.
We are what you made us.
like the Invisible Woman. And then, of course, we have the big, solid rock guy, Lava.
Out of my way.
Just like the Thing. Even their matching uniforms and the three, their name, Terrific Trio, Fantastic Four. I don't know. It seemed like, I don't know if this was just sort of like a thumbing their nose at, is that a thing? Thumbing your nose? They were doing this deliberately to kind of play off of Fantastic Four.
I had no idea this would happen.
But it was fun. I'm a big fan of Fantastic Four. I'm not one of those guys that's like strictly DC or strictly Marvel. I grew up with more DC than Marvel, but I certainly enjoy a lot of the Marvel comics and stories and shows and movies and all that just the same. And Fantastic Four was one of the groups that I really enjoyed. And I remember renting the old Fantastic Four cartoons from the 60s or 70s. So I'm a fan of Fantastic Four, but it just seemed an odd choice to pick to create this superhero group and have it be just a complete ripoff of them in this.
Just a freak accident. Yes, 1 in a million.
And then in another regard, Lava Man seemed like just a sort of a refreshed design of Clayface. Just the way he was designed. So I don't know, maybe this episode was just kind of hurried up, or they needed something to throw in there and just were like, let's just play off of this. But it seemed like an odd choice.
Yeah, it's great to finally have some clean, wholesome heroes that kids can look up to.
But having said all that, I do like the premise of a super team in Gotham as a little competition or a little another source for Batman to have to deal with. Again, sort of a divergent from, here's a villain doing bad things and Batman has to stop him. But now there's a little bit of a mystery involved of, here's these new superhero characters. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they really doing what they're saying they're doing? And how they are presented, again, playing off the Fantastic Four, that they're kind of in the public eye and they're being funded and they have the trio tower that they're working out of.
The government has spared no expense in establishing their new base of operations, the Trio Tower.
Which is completely different from Batman working in the shadows and kind of going rogue and that sort of vigilante sort of style.
I thought they were the good guys too.
Now, I mentioned in the last episode kind of my displeasure with the monochromatic sort of style when they are animating different scenes. But I do have to say, to contradict myself, that I do like the use of that inside the Batmobile, where it's all red and he's in there and, because he has the red in his suit. It seems to work in that scenario. And maybe that's what they were going for in the other scenes that just never quite fit. But I do like it in the Batwing-mobile.
I don't know why you even bothered to send me out.
Again, I mentioned this in the last episode as well, that the tendency would be in this type of setup for Bruce Wayne to just be a sounding board for them to get narrative exposition out.
The car was just a decoy?
And in this episode, I felt like Bruce was really underutilized and just was sort of reduced to just reacting to what was going on around him.
McGinnis, get out of there now!
Which I guess is okay, and I guess Bruce doesn't need to be as involved in every episode the same way every time. And so that's kind of nice. And certainly there's enough other characters that they had to establish and give credibility to in this.
Finish it now!
And of course, like most of these disasters that give people superpowers, their condition always seems to deteriorate and is certainly doing that to them. And it also causes people to go psychotic. And that's a trope that we see a lot in these type of stories. But it's sort of a necessary evil that they're given great power and they could do good or they could do bad. And something's gotta click to make them pull them in the other direction.
But you yourself said their condition was deteriorating and eventually they would have become dangerously psychotic.
But I like that story. I like the idea of this group of normal individuals that have powers thrust upon them and they now have the super abilities to do different things. What do they do with that? And they start to do good, but then become selfishly motivated, which I think makes sense that now you have all this power. Why do you have to listen to other people or listen to what society's telling you? I'm going to do my own thing. And like what Lava ends up doing is researching for himself and finding out, hey, is this really as bad as it seems? And what's happening to us? And was this guy that we thought was our friend, is he really behind this? And I like that they use that to kind of roll this mystery out, both in who are these characters and are they good, are they bad, but also which direction are they going to go, and how are they going to react to this new information of, well, your condition is deteriorating. I can't say that word. Deteriorating. You know what I'm saying. But anyway, so seeing how they react to this new information, and again, the choice of having them as a team, that you can see different parts of that personality going, I don't like this. Maybe it's not what it seems. Oh, well, maybe there's another way around this. And kind of rolls out at kind of a neat mystery, which is what I enjoy about Batman is I like there to be a little bit of a mystery. And this one, although it's not as direct as, oh, here was a crime, let me put on my detective hat and try to solve it, there's kind of just an underlying mystery of what's going on with these characters and what's their backstory and how are they going to react to that.
Just a freak accident. Yes, 1 in a million.
But the episode does kind of seem to end abruptly, which maybe just means that there was a lot of information that they had to get through in this. And it does feel like a really well fleshed out story that I think they could have told over a series of episodes, maybe not necessarily a two-parter. And maybe they do bring these characters back in, but felt like there was a lot of information that they were cramming into it, but then felt a little unresolved that once their friend is left there in the lab and Batman is talking with them and he goes, oh, they were my friends and I feel bad about this or whatever, that Batman just kind of walks out on him.
No, you don't understand. I was their friend.
Right.
So when it comes time to rank this episode, it's interesting to me that as I'm talking through it now based on the notes that I took when I watched the episode, it feels like I'm kind of down on the episode and it feels like I'm pointing out a lot of inconsistencies. But at the same time, when I'm done watching the episode, I immediately rank it and put it into where I think that it fits. And sometimes when I'm recording these episodes and I'm reading back my notes, I'm going, but the overall feeling that I had about the episode was pretty positive, despite the similarities of Fantastic Four, and maybe because of the similarities of Fantastic Four, which I'm a big fan of, that I felt that this episode, that those characters add a lot to the show and added a lot to the episode, and the underlying mystery that was involved there added a lot. So for all those reasons, I ranked this episode at the number 2 spot of my favorite episodes of Batman Beyond. And I know it seems kind of counter to some of the things that I was saying, but truly, this falls just below the episode Blackout because that is a great character, Blackout, original character, and has some neat powers. And like I said, it being one of the first episodes to really set Batman Beyond out on his own and versus this quality adversary. I think that one still holds the number 1 spot. But I have this episode beating out Rebirth because, again, that's a bit of an origin story. This is a bit of an origin story. But I think the mystery surrounding this episode and who these characters are and what they stand for and how they're going to react to the different things that are going on to them just propelled this one up a little bit higher above Rebirth.
Those guys are twips. Batman rips.
So speaking of Fantastic Four, we've seen a couple of different attempts at making a live-action Fantastic Four movie in recent history, or not so recent history if you go back and look at the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie. But it seems like there's been some struggles with making Fantastic Four work as a live-action movie, and it seems like it has all the right components. And it feels like we have the technology now to make those powers look cool and look great and work on screen in a live action format. But it seems like the story just doesn't hold up. I mean, I think some of the movies have been okay, but certainly not great. And I don't know why. But let me know in the comment section, why do you think Fantastic Four has not worked as a live action movie? If you appreciate my take on this episode, please hit the like button. If you want to see more episodes like this and see me reviewing more episodes of Batman Beyond, hit the subscribe button because I have new episodes coming out every Tuesday and Thursday for your enjoyment pleasure. And next up, we have the episode Shriek, so you're not going to want to miss that. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm Andy Knode, and I'll see you soon.